Hello, welcome to Chat ENG ahead of the game against Slovenia tomorrow night. I think it's a massive game for England. We've got to win, we've got to play well, we've got to have that pop moment that I've mentioned a few times that starts our tournament, because what we've seen so far, it goes without saying, is just nowhere near good enough. And I think when I speak to people, I was at a football event last night and just with other football fans, and you sort of talk about it, the same message from everybody is that it's just been so flat, so underwhelming, so difficult to get behind, and so difficult to believe it's going to change. And I think that's a general consensus throughout the country. I don't know, obviously he's not been around the country assessing it, but that's the feedback you get from social media, from videos you watch on YouTube, from radio stations, etc. The response from the squad has to be bullish, and it has been. I've watched a John Stones interview with TalkSport last night, which I thought was pretty decent actually. I thought it came across pretty well. I've seen the Harry Kane comments. The squad have got to, in some respects, cocoon themselves, protect themselves, make sure they're not pulled down and drowned by a swamp of negativity, which you could be if you let yourself read too much and you believe everything you read. But Kane's comments, having a bit of a dig at the pundits, reminding them of past failures and sort of saying it's tournament football. Yeah, it's tournament football, but you couldn't string a 5-yard pass together. You didn't try and run in behind once. It's a tournament football. What is playing deliberately poorly so that you then build into the tournament? No, it's not. I understand you're not going to be at your best potentially in the first couple of games. I understand that, but try and make it seem like it's deliberate, or that it's okay. It's concerning. And I would say the likes of Lineker, Shearer, Micah Richards, etc., they always caveat what they say with, look, we want England to do well. We're not here to cause a pile-on. You have to report it as you see it. And I think if they try to dress it up as something too positive, they look pretty stupid. So, listen, people can think what they want about Lineker, Shearer, etc. with their club hat on, but as an England fan, Lineker is passionate about England. You can see that. Shearer is passionate about England. You can see that. So I don't think anything that they're saying has been out of order at all. The squad have got to pull something out of the bag tomorrow for themselves and for everybody else to get behind, and that's all it'll take. And it's a perfect opportunity. Slovenia, I don't know a lot about them, but they're there to take, to beat, to play well against. Everything is there for you. And in previous tournaments under Southgate, particularly the Euros and the World Cup, when we've been in the same position, we've had 4 points from the first two games, we've won the last game, and if I recall rightly, I think played pretty well in those games as well. So really important that we not just win but play well. Again, I know in some of these videos I hark back a little bit, but I think some of the historical imprint on England is a problem. And I look back to 2010 in the World Cup in South Africa, where we played Algeria and the USA. The other way around, actually, it was USA. Rob Green made a terrible mistake. We drew 1-1. Algeria was 0-0. We got booed off. Rooney had a go at the fans via the camera as he came off. And then I think we played Slovenia or Slovakia in the third game. We won 1-0, but we were awful. And it doesn't bode well for the next stage of the tournament. You can keep hiding. In the first two games, you can hide behind the tournament football banner. You can't do that after the third game, because in the tournament football, the third game, you have to play well. You have to start to be showing some signs of progress. And we need to see signs of that tomorrow. And it will be such a sea change from what we've seen so far. I think that's why people are a bit worried. I could tell you what I think the team should be. There's no point, because Southgate's going to do what Southgate does. I've hinted upon it in previous videos. I've said about it in previous videos. What he's done in previous tournaments hasn't been pretty, but it's got the job done. We've reached the latter stages of all of those tournaments, particularly 2018 and 2021. So when you do that, not too many people can argue. I remember Mourinho at United, and I hated his style of play. It was wholly wrong for Man United. But if you're winning things and you're finishing high up in the league and you're getting 80 points and whatnot, then I always thought he was a wrong fit. But to some degree, as a manager, you can say, well, proof's in the pudding. There you go. I'm getting these results out of these players. And Southgate's in that boat for me, where he's not played brilliant football, but he has got results. He has done really well. The players have played for him. There is a good kind of camaraderie and continuity and cohesion about the team. But this looks far from that, this tournament. It's not the same as the other tournaments, to me. Because we were dreadful in the first game as well. So, I'd like to see a 4-3-3. I'd like to see him... I'll tell you what I'd like to see him do, and I mentioned it in the last video. If he is convinced that the way you win a tournament is by being very compact and hard to beat and living off moments, essentially, then pick a team that's going to do that. Because he's picking a team that needs to be given a lot of freedom, that needs to be allowed to go and express itself, that is not shackled by strict formation, strict positional discipline, being told where you can and can't go, not making runs in behind. That team that he's putting out there doesn't suit that. He could pick a team with the players at his disposal that do suit that, if that's what he wants to do, and they'll do it better. So either rip up the form book that you've always used and say, we're just going to go for it tomorrow. It's Slovenia. Leave one player holding in front of the defence, or don't even have one holding in front of the defence, because that defence will be alright against Slovenia. And let's go and show everybody. There's one option. That ain't going to happen. Or take Foden out. Take Foden or Bellingham out. Play very functional players everywhere, all over the pitch. Maybe take Bellingham and Foden out. Have them on the bench. As ridiculous as that sounds, that's a Southgate team. He won't do either of those things, I don't think. I think he'll play Foden, play Bellingham. He'll go against his better judgment, but he'll still he'll still put the shackles on them to say you can do this, but you can't do this. And they're not the players to do that with. There's no point. No point in having them in the team. I'd love to see Wharton. I'd love to see Mainu. I said before the tournament, you rarely start the tournament, even in the first couple of games, and then that team stays the same. You would normally have a breakthrough. Someone comes in, has a really good game. It's like, right, they're nailed on now. But they haven't had a minute. Sorry, Mainu came on, didn't he, against Serbia? Sorry, did he? Did he come on for a bit? I forget. I think he did. But he didn't have long. And Wharton hasn't had a minute. So it's not looking good that they're going to get any time on the pitch, but I definitely have them in some capacity, even if it's from the bench. We need control. That's the other thing. We need, I think when we've done well in previous tournaments, it's not just about how we've defended off the ball. I think we've controlled by keeping the ball, not in spectacular ways. We've not really hurt teams, but we've just kept the ball relatively well with simple 5-yard passes and moving teams around. And then in the end, we've had enough quality to go and break a team down. Mainu gives you control. Wharton gives you control. So potentially you could put both of them in there. Love to see something just a little bit different. But does he have the balls to do it? I'm not sure. But I maintain, trying to be optimistic, trying to be positive. This is a big opportunity for England tomorrow. Get the tournament kick-started. Get yourselves in the knockout stage as group winners. We've got then a game on Saturday night if we finish top of the group. I think it's whoever finishes potentially. Could it be third maybe from the Czech group? So we should again. Then that gives us a winnable game in that round. Then you're in the quarterfinals, and then you go right. All right, even if we've been crap, we're in the quarterfinals, bare minimum as far as I'm concerned. But that's decent. We have to get to the quarterfinals, and you give yourself a massive chance if you top the group. Win the game, play well. It's coming home. I'm not kidding anyone, am I?